broke a string on this guitar last week, so I had to go ahead and pull the old ones off and throw some new ones on. So I figured I would go ahead and go through my usual process of polishing the frets and re-oiling the fretboard and getting all the dust and grime off of there. So it ended up being a pretty long video. It was actually one of these videos was over an hour long, so I sped it up by 8. And now I'm going to voice over it, and I have this finished product here, so I'm going to just play a little bit of the end product over this video, if you don't mind. And I'll take some time to explain some parts along the way, but this should all be pretty self-explanatory. So what I'm doing here is I'm taping off the wood part of the fretboard because I'm going to be using sanding blocks on the metal frets, and I don't want to completely ruin the wood that's underneath it. So normally I would use like a regular masking tape, but this is the only tape I have on hand right now. It works well enough, except you can't sand super hard on it. You can kind of see where this process is going, but in a little bit I'll pull out some sanding blocks, and I think it goes from 1200 to 2000 to 4000 to 8000 grit, and then I'm just reshaping the frets a little bit, smoothing them off, making them nice and mirror finished so that it plays and feels super fine whenever you pick it up the next time. So those are the sanding blocks. They're quite old. I've used them a lot, and I probably need some new ones. But so far so good. Actually, I've kind of worn a little groove that's the size of the frets into some of them. So, it kind of makes it that much easier, right? No, not really. It's a really long-winded process, but as long-winded as this is, if I were doing it for someone that wanted to, say, I don't know, maybe pay me to do one of their guitars, I would be taking a lot more time and care into it. This is one of my own instruments, and I know I'm going to destroy it at some point. It's just, I beat them up so hard. So, I kind of skip a few steps whenever I'm going through it. I think what I'm trying to explain in that really sped up video just then is that some of these frets were pretty bad, and normally I would want to use a file on it. Oh, there's Millie. She really wanted some extra attentions, but unfortunately, I really wanted to get this done. Let's change this up a little bit. Not that loud. Yeah, this guitar is so much better right now. This is kind of the first time I picked up this guitar in the week that the string's been broken. I actually ended up playing bass for a gig for the first time the other day, so I'm kind of in bass guitar mode, and I'm trying to get back into, you know, pretty guitar princess mode, whatever, you know. It's not as manly as the bass because the strings are smaller. You know how it is. The Simpsons said it, not me. And I definitely know what I'm doing right now. From it, man. It's just the bass is still there. I cannot stress how much better this guitar is right now, though. wasn't keeping track, but I think the if that was the first coat of oil, it's mainly just to break up all the dirt and grime that's there. It's mainly like, finger residue, the oils in your fingers, and dead skin, and a little bit of rust from the strings, whatever you have, some dust from the room. The first coat kind of breaks it up, and I like to move it around and wipe it off. Then I use a different part of the rag when I apply the second coat, just to move it around, let it sit for a little bit, and then it kind of absorbs into the wood, and then go from there at like a final coat maybe. Looking pretty good at that point, though. That's pretty much it. Just time to wipe it down again and then restring it. I generally use this brand Elixir because they've got rubber coated strings, and I have so many guitars that sometimes it takes a while before I get around to playing it, and I don't want the strings to rust before I have the chance to play it. That is quite expensive, so I'm willing to pay an extra $5 on a pack of strings if it means it's going to last me so many months longer. I don't think it really affects the sound of the string that much either. Some people think it affects the tone, but I don't know. Whenever you're recording, it seems to not matter so much. A fresh string still sounds good. That's just about it. I've got one of those fancy Evertune bridges there, so it was pretty much in tune as soon as this video's done, and that's when I picked this up and started recording the audio.